foot creep, oh, I'm walking with it. Right foot creep. Right foot creep, oh.
see exactly how the land lies after game number 7 here. This is how it currently holds up for us. You can see here, what a surprise. Queasy and Vino remaining at the top there, 551 points. I mean, Taco, this is unprecedented.
Yeah, 109 points in a single match here in Game 7. And if you're Merstash and Tayson, yeah, you moved up 2 slots in the leaderboard. You're sitting at 353, but it's definitely going to be quite the battle. Closing the gap, maybe not so much, but for Merstash and Tayson, you can't appreciate the fact that they're still sticking to their own element.
Yeah, really solid game from these guys. At the beginning of the show, I was mentioning how those south zones might have had a little bit of a difficult impact on their gameplay, but this, another south zone rotating from the northern side of the map, so they've just answered all those questions. They've been hitting the VODs clearly and doing another good performance in game number 1.
We're seeing many of the usual suspects getting into the end game, which is what we expect here right now. I mean, these are the top 10 right now in the leaderboard, in grand finals, in the region. I mean, you expect to see so many of the names here. They all are here to take part. You can see it starting to move up the leaderboard as well. You know, like some eyedrop map there, 12 places up in one game. I mean, Tackle was always do on day 2 of finals, where teams from different parts of the leaderboard really can propel themselves upwards into a contention place for these global championship places.
Yeah, and I mean, we're talking about teams that just continue to keep trying to play leapfrog here in the leaderboard. Malibuca, Thomas, again, they make it through into a match. They get to have an impact as a duo, and honestly, really strong form there from Thomas at the end with the solo clutch impact.
Yeah, really great job from these guys. Levin mentioned it on the cars. They actually had no materials on those mid-ground layers, but they didn't drop down. So many teams there would drop all the way down to low ground, and because of the nature of the zone over that water, so many teams just battling it out down on low with no materials or no resources. The way that they played this in mid-game was so, in the mid-ground, sorry, was so perfect, and Thomas HD really clutched up there at the end.
Yeah, he really did. Look at the rest of the leaderboard here as well. We can start to see eliminations as well now. We focus on these quite a lot. We're starting to see a lot of teams or duos starting to kind of rise in their numbers. Their digits there are starting to really total up. We can see Queasy on 39 now. We talked about Blacker and Mixing yesterday with 33, but other teams as well are starting to get into the 20s and such now. So you know, we're seeing a lot of aggressive Fortnite to a degree because we're starting to get a lot of them and starting to rack up those points, which are worth so much in this competition.
Yeah, so many of the teams would have looked back at the VODs from yesterday and think about how can we improve, how can we change up our game plan, because for a lot of teams yesterday, they were running out of steam, they were running out of materials going into those later zones, so they're going to try and fix those issues, be a little bit more aggressive, because it's now or never. You don't have a day 3, you don't have a day 4, this is day 2, it's now or never.
Yeah, and I can't say it comes as much of a surprise to see teams in this top 10 with some of the highest elimination counts throughout because of the fact that we're seeing so much congestion actually building up. We touched on it at the top of the show as well, where teams that are kind of forced to all be in the same surface area. I mean, there's only so many places you can go, so we're seeing a lot of these elims, I think, taking place in like 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th zones.
Yeah, we really are. I mean, this competition as well was all about celebrating the new talent coming through as well. Really aspiring team that are coming through are Pixie and Dela in the EU. Really exciting to watch. You're not in the top 10, but still really making a statement here to say we are here, we are ready for FNCS, and we are definitely contenders for the future.
Yeah, this is a top team, and we saw them popping off last major as well, landing, of course, at Breakwater Bay, and it's no different again. They're popping off once again in this game, doing pretty good. Not quite in our top 10 so far, but if they can continue this momentum, continue this good form, they should be able to get into that top 10.
And something else that I like about Pixie and Dela, granted, they didn't get a chance to exhibit it here in Game 7, given the way that Queasy and Vino chopped out Jalen Twy on high and then overtook it themselves, but Pixie and Dela are a team that we have seen making efforts to try and overtake high ground.
Yes, that high ground is so lucrative, isn't it? We've seen the low ground and mid ground plays are one thing, but I think at this point, Queasy and Vino seem unstoppable on the high ground. I mean, Mini, does anyone dare challenge them at this point?
Well, Jalen Twy tried, and look at how it ended up for them. Not so great. I mean, they ended up clutching up the 3rd place, so great job from Jalen right there, starting the day a lot better than they finished it yesterday. They didn't quite have the best day, so they're trying. People are trying to get up, and I think it just highlights how good Queasy and Veno are, because Jalen and Twy held onto that height for so long. They just thought, you know, just chop it down, we'll go on top, and they had the match for it.
Absolutely right. All right, there you heard it. Game 7 is done. We now move on to our next one. But what is going to happen in this? Can Queasy and Vino continue this record-breaking performance? We'll have to wait and see. Can they get another victory royale? We're going to hop back in to the next game and see exactly what happens next in this exciting story that keeps delivering the goods. It's time for game number 8.
Another day, another Quizivino win, but on the other side of the coin, top 5 still up for grabs for the Global Championships later this fall.
Yeah, and it's very, very important, right? You don't want to miss out on a chance to play at the Global Championships, the biggest and best competition in Fortnite, and still so many of these top EU teams in contention for it.
And they're looking really good in that first game of day 2 now. The biggest thing that I'm seeing so far is Surge seems harder. The games seem faster, and off spawn is even more dire for a bunch of these teams. So let's jump in to the second game of the day, game number 8, and see what these guys got.
Yeah, I think if you are anybody in this lobby, you just have to ignore the winning team. Ignore it. It's going to be them, right? You know, I asked Queasy, I said, yo, you want more victory royales tomorrow? He said, yeah, I don't want just one. Not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5. I want all 6.
Oh, man. If that happens, I don't know what I'm going to be doing at game 4 or 5. The way the commentary goes, we shall see. I mean, the big thing to note is how far these guys are compared to everyone else. When it comes to endgame, it kind of is very, you know, representative. They're so far up in the sky, everyone else down below. Cool to see. New beginnings for Thomas HD and Malabuka too. I mean, they had a chance to win that last game. They got a lot of points on the board. They're trying to move up 8th place in total now. I feel like this is the team to watch. You want to have that comeback.
That is so annoying. I don't care.
The difference maker.
I'll go murder on my mind. I'll go murder on my mind. AK-47, I'll go murder on my mind.
You know, challenges for that top 5. And funnily enough, when I actually spoke to Vino last week about how FNCS is going to go, he actually said to me he thought if Thomas and Malabuka got pulse rifles every game, they win. And that's coming from the guys that just won 5 in a row, or 4 in a row. Right?
Well, what are the games they haven't won, though, right? I mean, that's one of the questions you have to ask. One of them was Thomas and Malabuka having those pulse rifles.
Yeah, because when they get them, they are just so dominant, so dominant. And so we'll have to follow that, right? They obviously were allowed to play out the game last game, and now that they're not contested, we'll get to see them more often in these games. But it is just all about whether or not they get that Rift Island, whether or not they can claim pulse rifles.
For other teams, win conditions not as surprising or appearing on the map in terms of the shape of an island that offers you weapons. Fast-Roki Hydro, I feel like it's tempering aggression. They're in so many scrappy fights. They're getting a lot of their surge from these box fights, but I feel like they need to slow down just a little bit, as well as all the other Mega City teams, to actually think about how they're getting surge.
Yeah, because it's very formulaic how you do it, but again, the actual execution of it can be tough sometimes. It comes down to hitting key shots. Ping and Kyrie right now in a battle here. It isn't too easy to win, and it started off with Ping going down at the hands of Reason. Now Reason's gone down at the hands of Kyrie, and so it's up to Janice to finish this one off.
It's going to be tough for Janice. I feel like Kyrie looks really strong in this one. So many builds at the same time as the firepower and the shields and position. This has to be something you must chase down. Through the trees, the foliage, he finds the box and actually gets the replace. No floor for Janice yet, but finally comes in. Kyrie has to find a way to not give Janice this much room, and he must have forgot about the wall.
That's tough. Really nicely done there from Kiri, just putting that pressure on, but unfortunately, Flo